What is denied by many people, but it is actually 100% real. That our memory is very fallible, and does not work like a video camera. Witness testimony is notoriously unreliable. You'll get 20 people who all saw the same thing saying 20 different things. A lie detector isn't reliable. I'm stunned by the number of people who think it is. I see it so often in news stories about crimes. People in the comments section say, "Just make him take a polygraph, then we'll know for sure." If anyone's reading this, don't ever agree to take a polygraph examination if you're suspected of involvement in a crime. There's a good chance it will produce a false negative positive, and even though the results are not admissible in court in many places, it may bias the police, the press, and your friends and family against you. If police push you to submit to a polygraph examination, it's because they use it as an interrogation tool. When I went to sea, I would see the occasional flying fish. It was surprising how many people thought I was pulling their leg when I told them about it. Confirmation bias. Reading into a situation what you want to see. Majority of folks aren't playing the official Uno rules. Monopoly also. Monopoly is actually a better and faster game if played by the official rules too. People largely deny responsibility for anything they contribute to. No raindrop feels responsible for the flood. Psychological addiction to marijuana is a real thing. This annoys me so much. I have friends who need to smoke another bowl if we are driving 10 minutes somewhere, or they'll have a problem. LMAO. I'm not addicted, I just need to smoke it every 15 minutes or I get panic attacks and my brain goes into Chernobyl nuclear meltdown mode. Shaving doesn't make the hair grow back thicker. You don't know how to fight unless you've been trained or have experience in fighting. Most people imagine themselves beating ass only to have reality smash them in the nose. A lot of people even injure themselves just trying to throw punches. My kids swore they could fight off a knife attack. My husband got a marker and had our kid try to separately fight each of us off them. They failed horribly. But they now know it'd be near impossible to defend themselves in a knife fight. Knife fights are scary. When you enter a fight with a knife, you need to know that you are going to get cut. Not may get cut. Going to get cut. A lot. I would add that many people who practice certain martial arts also overestimate their abilities. If you don't actually fight in competition or at least serious sparring, then your training probably won't help as much as you think it will. Same thing is true for firearms training, and even more difficult to account for. Another thing is some martial artists not being cognizant of the fact that real fights aren't fair. Your assailant might be armed or there might be multiple people. Jiu-jitsu is great against one unarmed guy, but your ground game will fail hard when the other guy's friend is standing and kicking you in the head while you execute a textbook triangle choke. Or worse, even the best fighters are wise to avoid a street fight whenever possible. It's okay to eat MSG. People eat piles of it without even realizing it. Shark attacks are extremely rare. Can we get a shout out for cougars too? They've killed 27 people since 1868. You could almost call them harmless with those numbers. I have a favorite quote from a park ranger. You may never see a mountain lion in the wild, but if you spend any significant time in the wild, they've seen you. If it is happening to someone else, it can happen to you. That they are good humans because they have good thoughts. You have to do good to be a good person. The world is full of people complaining, but we are in need of people willing to sacrifice and not make it about themselves. We judge others by their actions but ourselves by our intentions. Being 35 to 50 wasn't considered elderly back in the day. It was common for people to live into their 70s and 80s. The reason we get average lifespan data with such low numbers is because so many babies died, skewing the average values downward. Herd mentality. The IQ of a mob is the IQ of its dumbest member divided by the number of mobsters. Terry Pratchett. A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals. Agent K, Men in Black. That financial success has largely to do with luck, where you were born, who your parents are, etc. I remember a freshman year sociology class, one of the first classes I ever took. Professor started the class by saying, "Every one of you in this room has already made it. The fact that you are even sitting here means you have made it. Right now you are successful in a way most people can never be, And there is nothing you did to earn that. Man, talk about an opening line. At the time, I didn't really understand. I do now. He was right. What positioned me to be able to be successful was everything that happened before I ever left home. Flushable wipes should not actually be flushed. Flushable wipes are flushable in the same way that anything's a dildo if you're brave enough. You absolutely can flush them, but you definitely shouldn't. Everyone is susceptible to propaganda even if you are aware you are looking at propaganda. Most genocides tend to have a lot of deniers. Unfortunately, the Armenian genocide, the Holocaust, Stalin, etc. The sixth extinction. I've never heard of this. The current one. It's also called the Anthropocene, in which human activity is causing many animals to go extinct via pollution, encroachment, and introduction of invasives and messing with their habitats too much. There are 5 major extinctions in the geologic record. The one that killed the dinosaurs is the one most people know. There were 4 others. In modern times, we are entering the 6th extinction event. That having children is not for everyone, that it's not all sunshine and the meaning of life, and millions of people regret being parents. This is true, and I think everyone on both sides of this needs to accept that becoming a parent means absolutely committing yourself to the cause. You can't just give up when it gets too hard. Your kids are now your entire world. If you're not ready to commit to that, then you're not ready to be a parent. Too many of my relatives saw having multiple kids as a fun thing to do, when they were wholly unprepared for the situation. And now their kids and those kids' grandparents, if present, have to deal with the consequences. It's also a lot harder to have kids now than it was 25 years ago when I was born. I owe my entire life to the benefits system that supported my single mother and her 4 children, which was slowly dismantled as I became older, to the point that my mother started leeching from her kids because she could no longer support herself. Now I'm earning more than she ever has, but I can't even afford to rent a flat. Psychics cannot predict when I will visit them. That Jesus in the New Testament was wildly opposed to what would become the traditions and practices of Christian fundamentalists. That everything in this world is controlled by money. Who paid you to say that? Invisible health conditions like dysautonomia, fibromyalgia, and chronic fatigue syndrome, also ADHD. People think you are faking just to get Adderall. I'm caught in this fun limbo of too disabled to work without immense suffering but not disabled enough to qualify for assistance. It's 100% because of this. I got brushed off by several doctors to the point that I'm in worse health than I could have been with proper treatment. If they can't see it, they don't care. That most people would do some pretty awful things for money if presented the opportunity. People would like to believe that they have strong morals, but if presented with a button that would kill 10 random people in the world in exchange for $1 million, many would press it. I would guess at least half of the population would. And many would press it multiple times. But not many people would actually admit that they would press it if given the opportunity to. Maybe I am just too cynical and not many would press it, but this hypothetical situation is something I think about a lot. When I divorced my husband, he was in utter shock. His father was wealthy. Most of the shit things he did to me was at his father's suggestion. Money messes with people. He was his father's lapdog. As much as he wanted his freedom and his own life, he was a slave to his father's purse strings, money his father had stolen through a Ponzi scheme. It was blood money in my mind. His father used him, and he couldn't even see it because acknowledging it would ruin the father-son bond he lined for so badly. I couldn't stand to watch it, and couldn't stand and refused to live my life under his father's thumb, and watch my marriage disintegrate all for the promise of that money. It was corrosive. My ex literally couldn't understand how I could walk away, and also hated me for being able to so easily. You can love someone else without loving yourself first. There's plenty of parents that hate themselves and love their kids. Not recommending it, but it's a stupid thing to deny. I would even argue it's much easier to love someone other than yourself. Built-in obsolescence, planned obsolescence, shocked how many people don't believe it happens. That colds are caused by viruses and not being cold. Viruses and bacteria get an easier foothold on other organisms when their immune system is compromised, specifically when stressed by cold weather. Its indirect effect. Group opinion bias. Weight bias. Literally everyone treats overweight people different. That's because it is a visible signal. In some societies, being overweight equals being prosperous. In current Western society, being overweight equals having no self-control, self-discipline. That people in power don't care about you. Based on some disturbing podcasts and articles I've been hearing, women's health issues, particularly their pain. Apparently, most doctors of both sexes are quick to dismiss and downplay our pain rather than, oh, I don't know, treating it. MLMs are a fucking scam. I think 80 to 90% understand this completely, and MLMs prey on the rest. High fructose corn syrup is worse than real sugar. Autism diagnoses. Myself and lots of autistic people I know are often told by people who seem to base their entire knowledge of autism off the movie Rain Man are like, "But you don't seem autistic." Research on autism has changed a lot since the 80s, but public perception has changed very little. No amount of alcohol is healthy. What is denied by many people, but it is actually 100% real. Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.